Today we're going to talk about 8 things that your insurance company doesn't want you to know. Now, this is different than any video I've made in the past because I'm actually going off of an article from Parlamag, and some of these points are really good. Other points I'm going to defend and tell you are complete BS. So let's dive right into it and explain what are the top 8 things that this article thinks that insurance companies are going to hide from you. Number 1, your car is tied to your insurance. That is completely true. So if you have a claim, if you're outside of your car in the grocery store and something happens, but your car's outside and it's nothing to do with your car, you have no liability following you. That's typically where renters and home insurance policies kick in because they carry liability. And that partially covers you outside of your home, on top of which you get umbrella insurance, which covers you pretty much in any situation. So those are available and you may already have them, but it's not tied to the actual car. That being said, if somebody borrows your car, they may not carry the liability that you have in your vehicle. It's a two-part. They didn't go into the outside of your car, which they should have, but they're more talking about if somebody is in your car, you let them borrow it, then they have what's called permissible use, and most companies have allowed that. So be very careful with the policy that you have, because that's kind of a let's just get you to read this article piece where it's not necessarily a commonly true piece. Number 2, without shopping, you can likely lower your current policy as long as you know some of the discounts that you might be missing. Now that's a tough piece. That's partially why this channel's here. That's why you want to hit the subscribe button, turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any videos like this that teaches you that. There are technology pieces. If your car parks itself and it has special features in it, there are things that could save you extra money. The VIN number automatically knows what it came with, so if you didn't add anything on, it's not likely that you're going to add additional discounts. Your occupation can play a factor. There's a whole bunch of pieces that you may not be aware of, and that's why I recommend that you typically every 3 to 5 years take a step back, look at where you're at, see if you need to talk to your agent or shop around. I personally like to recommend you talk to your agent first, give them the shot to get you that better deal. Find out if there's a new discount for being a CPA. Find out if there's a new discount for education, or if your car has special features that he wasn't aware of that you can get a deal for. Maybe you took a driving course. There's a handful of things, and I'll put in the description below a link to a video that talks about some of those discounts. Overall, the unfortunate part is you're responsible for knowing about those, and it's tough for you to get that piece. So if you're wondering if the price is high, it may make sense to talk to your agent. I wanted to pause the video and kind of go over a quick piece with all of these different pieces that these articles are going to go through. One of you or many of you are going to want to likely shop and check out different prices. If you're going to shop, I have a link below to the company that I work with where you can talk to a live person, but we also work with a company called Cover, and I started reaching out to them because they had some really good programs and some good information and data, and they work with 30 some odd plus companies. So the fact that they have all these company options for you, they have a quick and easy app where you don't have to talk to a live person. So if you're the person that already knows what you're looking for, you may want to check out the Cover app below. The review I did on it before we actually connected, you may want to watch as well because it almost cut the bill that I had in half. Check it out. If you guys are interested, it's in the link description below. Number 3, I'm calling bull crap. This is a complete BS article. If you're in an accident, you may not want to see the doctor recommended. I don't know why you would go to the recommended doctor in the first place. Like, everybody has their own doctor. Just go to your doctor. There's no restrictions. I've never seen a policy, and you can let me know in the comments if there is one out there that restricts you from seeing your own doctor. Insurance isn't like Medicare or Medicaid where you have these in-network doctors that you can go to, and it's not like a health plan. It's your insurance. You're insuring yourself, and if you need to see a doctor or medical attention, you go, typically I go to the nearest hospital, or if you have a preferred person, you're going to go to them. So in most cases, that's fine. If they refer a doctor, they talk about how they're going to likely have the doctor reduce cost and deny claims. So they essentially are saying that the doctor is not doing their job and they're purposely looking for, oh no, that wasn't the car accident. Oh no, that can't be. Where a normal doctor would be like, okay, this could be part of the accident. Let's dive a little bit further. If that's the case, that doctor needs to lose their license and be pulled off of the medical board, period. That's just against everything they went for to be a doctor. I want to see some examples of this. I would love to see where that research came from because I'm calling BS on that part. Number 4, the insurance adjuster isn't your friend. Also BS. So the insurance adjusters are just people. They're people that got a job in the insurance industry and they wanted to help other people. Typically what I see is they get into sales, and sales is that tough, let's grind it, make 1,000 phone calls a day, and it's a whole nother world. If you're looking for that, you need to check out my other channel I'll put below where it is for agents and salespeople. Now, the part of that is the adjusters are usually friendly. They try to be helpful. Lately, I've seen a lot of adjusters not be so friendly because they're overworked. Some companies have gotten too many claims, they've grown too much, and in those situations, they're not taking care of their adjusters correctly, in which case they usually move on to a different company. To go back to that piece of the article, with them saying they're gonna be friendly just to kind of warm you up and make, buddy, they're telling you not to be friendly with the adjuster because they're gonna take advantage of you. Completely illegal, and if a company is doing that, you need to report them to DIFS, Department of Financial Services, where they need to be caught because that isn't part of the industry and no company should have a rap based on that information. I do partially agree that you don't necessarily have to be buddy-buddy with the adjuster because they really only need the facts. What happened? Whose fault was it? Was anyone injured? Where are you getting it fixed, right? You don't have to, it's just kind of entering data, and they're gonna determine if they have the availability to approve that claim or not. If you're going through a claim, what I would recommend is you check out my video on handling claims adjusters where you can get some good advice out of that. Number 5 is a known in the industry, it says that you're not locked into your car insurance policy over the long term. That's why they call them open-ended contracts. So typically if you bought a year-long policy, and you sometimes can go longer, but very rarely, it's 6 months to a year most commonly. And if we bought a year-long policy and I found a better deal or I wanted to go to a different company, I can leave anytime. It's an open-ended contract. Some states will have a little bit of a fee, typically not over $50. So whoop-de-doo if you lose 50 bucks but save 600, that might be a good benefit for you to look at that option. It's open-ended for 2 reasons. 1, it gives you the freedom to leave. You can go anywhere you want at any point and you're not stuck into that contract. 2, it won't let the insurance company leave and leave you high and dry. So it's there to protect you. So if they want to drop you, they can, but not until the renewal. If you have a claim, you have an accident, you have a ticket, none of those are going to affect you right away until that renewal hits because you've already paid and already locked in for that contract period. And at that time, they're going to determine whether they want to keep you or raise your rate. And that whole time you have the choice of, I didn't like the way they handled it, I'm going elsewhere. Number 6, your credit score may impact your costs. Not 100% true, but 99% true because it's an insurance score, which is semi-tied to your insurance score. I will be working on a video in the future that will talk about that because it's like 14 different pieces that they take. Payment history, they're not actually checking your current credit score, but they take part of the credit score, mixed with payment history, mixed with all these factors of your credit, so to speak, and they create what's called an insurance score. And they've been able to tie that to the risk of you skipping a payment or having billing issues and having different things like that. And that plays a cost of them having to service you as a person. So that does play a fairly large effect on your insurance. Easiest way to remember, keep your insurance score good. If it goes up, it's probably time to reshop or requote your current company. Also, some states like California and Hawaii, and I think Massachusetts, they don't do this. So insurance score is excluded in those states. If you're in one of those states where it doesn't matter, then it's not going to play a factor. Number 7 is also something I'm calling BS on because they talk about the 3 Ds, which is delay, deny, and defend. They essentially say that insurance companies want to delay your claim, they want to deny as much as they can, and they want to defend themselves against that. And I'm saying no. There's no way that these companies are rated in what's called AM Best, which is completely outside of them. JD Power, all these searches, you've got the Zebras, you've got the Insurance Nerds, and all these like different companies and different articles that do their own research, and they give them stars based on activity, how quickly claims are handled. Essentially, the insurance company is going to take care of you. That's why they get these good consumer reports and these good AM Best scores and these JD Power scores. It's how quickly can you handle a claim? claim? How satisfied is the customer? How easy is it for them to contact and work with you? Don't get me wrong, there are some times where the adjusters are overwhelmed. I've got one of my favorite companies that I've worked with that I just recently had heard a story where an adjuster 4 days later still hasn't gotten the rental car to the guy. And I'm like, get on the phone, call the president. This is ridiculous. This company stands by being the best of the best, and this isn't okay. So that's why you have an agent, is that person's gonna fight for you. But the piece of it is they shouldn't be doing that. When you call agent, they're gonna give you that advice, which is probably the most powerful piece. That's why a lot of people are moving away from the 1-800s and the .com ones where these tech companies are doing it, but they're all based on algorithms and not giving advice, because once you push these buttons on their algorithms, it locks in those claims and it automatically counts them whether you had it or not. It was an incident. And if you talk to an agent, they're like, okay, we'll go get an inspection. Is it worth filing a claim? Here's what your rate will increase or not. If it doesn't increase, let's just go after and get that claim done. You can make an educated decision with some advice when you have the right people behind you. That being said, the insurance company should not and better not be trying to delay any claim. It doesn't help them, it hurts them. They shouldn't be denying them unless you didn't have the right coverage, and that's partially your fault, partially whoever you're talking to's fault, and they shouldn't be defending themselves. They're there to defend you. And they actually have a clause in most policies where they have to defend you in the courts if there is an issue with another party going after you. And so I don't quite see ever where this has been. I'd love to see some examples if anybody has had any. Number 8 is you're going to get more money with the lawyer. Well, that's, I mean, duh. You're always going to get more money with the lawyer. It's like going to a fist fight and you brought a bulldog and you got your lawyer, the bulldog. Will you make more money at the end? Maybe. I mean, you have to pay the lawyer unless it's part of the lawsuit, and you have to deal with the time that the lawyer is going to extend things, because they're not necessarily going to get it handled, done, and fixed now. Where you could watch the video where I talk about dealing with adjusters and have a good, pleasant conversation. Like, I've had an argument with my adjuster on a claim I had, and they fixed it. We agreed that whatever I installed added value on the car, and when I claimed it, it ended up being counted. And so I was happy in the end of it. They were happy. It was a little bit of a fight, but overall it wasn't a major thing. Now, if we're talking about medical and someone's death or someone's injured majorly, then sure, I can see where you would want some legal advice, especially if the insurance is kicking back, but you may be better off just seeing what they say first. If you don't like what they have to say, then maybe contact and get some legal advice. So the biggest question is, what do you guys believe? Have any of you seen some of these situations, and how did you get out of those situations? What were the outcomes that you ended up with? I would fair to say that most people who have gone through any of these long-term solutions realize that it's not worth your time, and that's where a lot of these people or article writers are thinking, oh, this is why an insurance company would fight it. But at the end of the process, they have a set rule guide that they follow. And you can read that. It's part of what you're purchasing. You've got these huge 50, 60 pages of stuff that nobody reads, but a lot of it's in there. And if it doesn't meet that guideline, they stick to it. If you want to go outside of it, or if you think it's unfair, or if you think you've done something that you think should accredit you more, then you have all right to talk to them and explain your case. If that is the case, then you may, like I said, need to get legal advice. It's really up to you what you choose to do. The biggest thing is, if you're dealing with claims and that is the situation, don't cash the check they give you right away. Talk to somebody first before you accept the payment. That's probably the only thing that I've seen some companies sort of trick you into being locked in. Well, you accepted the check, you cashed it. That was essentially you signing over that you agree to the amount that we talked about. Can you fight that? Probably, but it just extends the time frame, and before you know it, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months later, it wasn't worth it at the end to save $2,000. You have to deal with the lawyer, you're missing work, the whole 9 yards. And yes, the insurance companies understand that, but keep in mind, the more that happens, the more you're coming to my channel or you're going on someone else's channel, and I'm gonna get comments. Go ahead, I don't mind. Put in what happened. Let's share the word and get the experiences out, and the worse it's gonna hurt them. So sure, could they save 10 grand, 20 grand, 3 grand, whatever the case is, but in most cases, I've seen companies go beyond their guidelines and give out more of a payment just to get it taken care of properly and have you taken care of. So you're getting that check on the consumer report or the insurance score to say, yes, this is the company I want to deal with. They took care of me when they didn't have to, and I'm not going to leave them. This is where my loyalty stands, and this is where they build their true customer base. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? If you guys want to watch some other videos, I will link them here. Otherwise, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.